Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. Welcome back to another video. This one is the Thursday Night Football Showdown. And who would have thought that on Thursday Night Football, the NFL was allowed to put two premium teams playing against one another? We have the Chiefs and we have the Chargers, a really explosive, high scoring, hotly contested AFC West masterpiece in the making. I hope that this game is pretty much like the game that the Rams and the Chiefs played a couple of years ago. You remember that one when they scored like, I don't know, 400 points on an island game? It was fantastic. I'm hoping that this Thursday night's game is anywhere close to that. We have a key injury to a big time player. We have a lot of captains in play, and I'm going to go over all the captains and how you should try to deploy them on this slate, as well as do a pick 'em on Underdog and see if we can keep running hot over on underdogfantasy.com. If you were looking for the recap video, it used to be on the Al Smizzle Games channel. It is now on the Al Smizzle Fantasy Football channel. Smizzle.tv/FF will take you directly there and give you a prompt to sub, or you can go through the link tree, smizzle.tv/links. Let's get right to this Thursday night game. I am excited, and I hope that you are too. Let's go!
He's a legend.
The Smiz Gang Listener League for Week 2 is posted. The link is in the link tree, where it is always. It exists in the pinned comment down below. It also exists in the description down below. Either place, you can find the link, either the direct link or the one that'll take you to the link tree. Smizzle.tv/links is the easiest way to explain it. That has the link to the Listener League, as well as Best Buys, all my socials, the Discord, the HQ NFT key. All of those things are right there in Smizzle.tv/links. The Listener League is $10, 3 max entry, and $40,000 in prize pool. There is no rake. It is the best tournament on DraftKings. You should go check it out and compete against other members of the Smiz Gang. Every single Monday, I shout out the top 10 in that recap video that exists on the Fantasy Football channel. So be sure to get in there, do your best, win some money. Great payout arc. Best league that exists on DraftKings. Let's head over to Underdog Fantasy. They have higher and lowers based on fantasy props. You can bet 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. You can insure the pick so you can miss one if you want, if you're sick of losing all your parlay cards by missing one. I believe that this game is going to be a shootout, so unders, lowers, right? If we're playing on lower dog, the lowers are sharper because obviously there's more paths to things happening. If a player gets injured, if the game script goes wonky, if maybe they just didn't do the things that you kind of thought that they were going to do as a team. There's a lot of different ways for the under to cash. There's only one way for the over to get there, or the higher to get there if you're playing on higher dog. But I don't root for punts and field goals. I want to have some fun. So I'm going to go with, let's say, over 286 passing yards for Justin Herbert. Let's say over 95 passing yards there. I'm going to say higher than 2.5 passing touchdowns for Patrick Mahomes. Let's go for a 5 burger. Let's get a 5 burger on this one. 69.5, that's nice. I'm going to go higher on the receiving yards, and let's find a short one. Where's the small one? There's no other small ones up here. I would have loved a Palmer one, but we didn't get a Palmer one. Let's say higher than 79. There's my 5. If you have not opened an account on Underdog Fantasy, you should. Use promo code ALSMIZZLE. You get a $100, up to $100 deposit bonus on your first deposit to the site. So that's free money that you can use. We're going to go $25. I'm going to insure this one. Let's go. And you know, if I'm going to insure it, let's go for 50. I got to win 4 to get 2.5x. If I get all 5, I get 10x. There's my picks. You saw them. Let's get to the captains. Now, if you've watched my Showdown videos before, you know that there is a specific path and a way that we build these lineups that will give you the best opportunity to come in at the top of the sheet. We saw that happen on Monday Night Football in the Broncos Seahawks game, and so we build this way all the time. It's not going to win every single time, but it wins the majority of the time and has the benefit of the public not doing these things. So you're not only on the right side of the math, you're on the right side of the math in terms of winning. You're also on the right side of the math in terms of, let's say, when you win the most, right? You don't want to split with 100 to 500 people. You want to split with like 2, maybe 10, maybe 20 people so that you can maximize when you win. So the first thing the public does too much, and we're going to overdo it on this one, I typically keep my quarterbacks at captain to lower than like 15% combined, right? But like I do have this caveat that when you have these unicorn type quarterbacks who can completely break a slate on their own and spread the ball around, as both of these guys do, with the possibility of throwing 3+ touchdowns, also possibly running in a touchdown and getting the 300-yard bonus, it's more viable for a quarterback to be captain when it's Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, like those guys of that ilk, right? Jalen Hurts. Those guys can end up at captain more. The public tends to play the captain quarterback way more than it pays off, but on a game like this, it's going to be popular, we know that, and it does also have a higher probability of paying off. When you do play the quarterback at captain, right, and Patrick Mahomes is absolutely amazing. If you're going to play the quarterback at captain, if you're building by hand, or if you're using a lineup builder, we'll talk about the lineup builder later when we get to the Fantasy Labs portion of the show and show you all of the things I'm talking about here and how to plug them into the lineup builder tool. If you're building by hand, you want to make sure that if you've got a quarterback at captain, if he has a game that makes him viable, you want to make a group of players that catch the ball from him. That would be Travis Kelce, anybody that you can project to catch balls versus their salary expectation, right? So like Juju Smith-Schuster, but clearly watch the waiver. He was a limited participant on Monday. Tuesday's practice is the important one that we're going to be concerned with. That report has not come out yet. I'm not going to use Clyde Edwards-Helaire in this group. He did catch 3 balls for 2 touchdowns last week. So yeah, he definitely correlated last week with Patrick Mahomes, but 3 targets per game is not enough to warrant that. So we're going to keep it to the pass catchers. And then as we go down the list, I'm going to keep the kicker in that group as well, because the kicker correlates higher with the quarterback than people are willing to admit. It is a positive correlation. Butker, though, did miss situations on last weekend because he kind of hurt himself on the opening kickoff. If he's not playing, we'll find if there's another kicker. If not, is there another kicker on the slate for them? No, because they don't have anybody on the roster, right? So, like, you may have to go kickerless in that situation when they use their safety as the backup kicker. Sky Moore would be in that group as well. Fortson, and we're going to look for guys that could get involved that have lower percentages. But 2 of these guys, at least 2 of the pass catchers from the quarterback, have to go in that group. And then on the way back, you're going to build a group that has all of the offensive skill position players, quarterbacks, tight ends, running backs, and wide receivers from the Chargers, right? We're not going to put the opposing defense against our captain quarterback. We're not really going to be thrilled playing, the opposing kicker. Like, it can happen, but it's just not a route that I want to go because it's not a high probability route. Now, discussing Justin Herbert at captain, it's also very similar. Look, he didn't have the greatest game in the first game against Las Vegas, didn't bonus, but he did have 3 touchdown passes. They went to like randoms, right? He had like 2 running back. It was ridiculous. Like it was all over the place. It didn't go where we wanted to, but he had a fantastic game from an efficiency standpoint because he's awesome, and that's what he does. If you're going to play Herbert as your captain, same rules apply as if we were using Mahomes at our captain. Monitor this injury. This is the big one. Obviously, Keenan Allen had a hamstring injury on Sunday. They say it's not a long-term issue. I'd be shocked if he plays in this game. Right now, projections for the game are operating as though Keenan Allen is in. I'm personally operating as though Keenan Allen is out. If you're not sure, set up your if-then statement. If Keenan Allen plays, then this is what my projections are going to be. If Keenan Allen sits out, this is what my projection is going to be. I'm operating for the rest of this video as though he is completely out. So in that pass group, I said I was not going to use the running back with the Chiefs. I am going to use Austin Eckler, especially in the absence of Keenan Allen, because I project his, market share of the targets to be 15% plus in any games like this. So all running backs, like the correlation matrix, something that if you don't know what that is, Google fantasy football correlation matrix, and you'll see what positions correlate with other positions. That encompasses every player at every position ever. So like the running back quarterback is a negative correlation, right? They don't work well together, because if the running back runs one in, that means the quarterback did not score a touchdown. There's a finite number of touchdowns that you can score in a 60-minute game. However, when running backs get like 15% plus of the target market share, they basically become a pass catcher. So part of their job doesn't correlate with the quarterback, but part of their job does. Austin Eckler fits that job. So the negative correlation works with every single running back quarterback combination ever. So you got guys like Nick Chubb pulling down guys like Austin Eckler, as opposed to looking at this as an individual situation. I am going to be using Eckler in that group with Justin Herbert at captain. I will also have Mike Williams. I'm big on Josh Palmer in general, right? In season longs, he was too cheap in terms of his ADP. But if Keenan Allen is gone, Joshua Palmer takes a massive step forward. He'll be on the field in all 2 wide receiver sets. He will also be on the field in all 3 wide receiver sets. They run both of those a lot. He's just going to see a massive bump in terms of snaps played and targets total and target market share, with Keenan Allen vacating like 24-25% of Justin Herbert's target market share overall. That has to be spread. No one person's going to get all of it. Williams will get some. Palmer's going to get some. Everett's going to get some. Hopkins, as I said before, the kicker correlates better with quarterbacks than people are willing to concern. And then you've got to figure out which pass catchers you'd like that would probably be lower play players. Just think back to Monday Night Football when every backup tight end ever got a touchdown. Will Disley scored, and Akue Bunam, he got close to the goal line on one, and 6 other backups. Parkinson scored. Ridiculous, right? But in Showdown, those guys are gold, because the winning lineup was going to have Disley because he had like 10 plus 12 fantasy points in that range. And if you have that player who's less than 10% played, that gets you 10 points. As we said, every single point matters in a Showdown tournament. So we'll talk about how we're going to force those low played guys. So building that group is key with the Herbert quarterback lineups. Then we're going to build that same group we talked about before: quarterback, tight end, running back, wide receiver. At least one of those coming back in my Herbert at captain lineups. If you're still watching at this point, thank you very much for being here. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure that you ring that notifications bell. I come out with 8 videos a week here on the main channel. Would love to see you. I would hate it if you missed any of them. So ring the notifications bell. There will be at least one video 7 days a week. I'm producing more content this season than I ever have before. Don't want you to miss any of it. What else can we say? Travis Kelce, he's going to lead this team in terms of target market share. We knew that with the absence of Tyreek Hill. Juju Smith-Schuster's fine. MVS, he's fine. But like, none of them can command gobbling up all of the market share of targets that Tyreek Hill vacated. So like, Travis Kelce is going to see 25 to 30% of the Kansas City Chiefs targets. That's a massive share for any pass catcher, but for a tight end, it's absurd. Now, 29 fantasy points from him in the first game, 8 catches, 121 yards, and a touchdown. If you're going to play him at captain, this goes for every one of these pass catchers. Every Kelce captain lineup, every pass catcher captain lineup is going to have their quarterback in it. Same goes for the Herbert groups. If you wanted to play Clyde Edwards-Helaire, that's fine. He looked really good in the first game, but like, I think people are going to overweight this touchdown result that he had. If you take the 12 points away for those touchdowns, he had a 10 fantasy point day. He's going to cost you an awful lot. 12.9K at captain is a bunch, right? At flex, he's less. But like, I don't know that he has a chance to be the optimal highest scoring guy on the list, especially with guys that are cheaper than him. Juju Smith-Schuster being one of them. 8 targets from Patrick Mahomes. If he is to get 7 to 10 targets a game every single game, playing a lot of his snaps in the slot, Juju Smith-Schuster is going to have a ridiculous season on volume alone, coming from a quarterback that's efficient, or as efficient as Patrick Mahomes. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, he is what he is, right? So like, people were kind of drooling over MVS playing in this Chiefs offense as though he's finally going to get to play with a good quarterback with Patrick Mahomes. He spent his entire career catching balls from Aaron Rodgers. We know what he is. He's a good deep threat. He's not an amazing deep threat. He thrives on one-on-one coverage, which he is going to get on this team, but he can't really command 7+ targets a game. I think that, look, anytime that you have him on a showdown slate, there's an opportunity for him to catch 1, if not 2 long touchdowns and become the optimal captain. So I'm going to have a sprinkle of him at my captain spot, but I want to probably end up getting more of the volume guys, which leads me to Austin Eckler at captain. If you get him there, I don't think you need to force Herbert into that lineup, but I'm not going to exclude Herbert from the lineups. If I have Austin Eckler at captain, I believe that he's going to be extremely popular this week, especially in the absence of Keenan Allen. Mike Williams disappointed everybody last week, and I'm kind of hoping that in the absence of Keenan Allen, so a phrase that I keep repeating on this video, right? In the absence of Keenan Allen. Ownership percentages on showdown slates are always really inflated because there's only so many players you get to choose from, but I'm hoping hoping that there's going to be a few people that say, I played Mike Williams in week 1 because everybody said that he was underpriced and he didn't do well. He had 3 points and he killed me. He lost me money, so there's no way I'm going to play him on this slate. You should totally play Mike Williams on this slate. If anybody has a ceiling, and if anybody is a good tournament play in the league, it's Mike Williams, right? You know that he has a floor of like 5 fantasy points. He can disappear. We've known this for years about Mike Williams. He can also post like a 40-point game and break the entire slate. So Mike Williams is somebody that I'm not only interested in the flex spot, but I'm very interested in Mike Williams as a captain on this showdown slate. And then we get to kind of the cheaper guys. And the last guy that I'm interested in this spot is Joshua Palmer. So Joshua Palmer, in the absence of Keenan Allen, say it with me, chat. In the absence of Keenan Allen, Joshua Palmer does look to be on tap for like 6 to 11 targets. I know that's a wide range, but you have to allow that wide range when you have somebody like this. I'm probably not going to go lower than this on salary because there's diminishing returns when you go with like a cheap captain. People love to play that cheap captain because then they think, well, I can get Mahomes and I can get Herbert and I can get this other guy and I can get this other guy. The problem is when you 1.5x the scores, you have to play players that have a chance to at least either lead the slate in scoring or be like top 5. It's very unusual to be able to have a captain that's super cheap and then stuff in the other guys, because if a captain goes off for like 30 to 35 DraftKings points, you 1.5x that and they get like 50 to 60. It's tough. It's really tough to make that up when your captain gets you like, you're not going to find those other 45 points just laying around on your roster. So it is what it is. But Palmer is the last guy that I'm going to consider for my captain spot on this. And if I have Joshua Palmer at captain, as I said before, every one of those lineups is going to have Herbert with it. Because if Palmer has a viable captain game where he scores 25 plus DraftKings points, Herbert, if he has like 100 yards and 9 catches and 2 touchdowns, Herbert also is going to have had a fantastic game, and every point matters. Every point matters and every dollar matters. Thank you guys so much so far for the support on our community-wide charity event that we are having. We are trying to raise $50,000 from our community, and that means you. For No Kid Hungry, they are raising money for food insecure kids. There are some kids around this country that do not know where their next meal is coming from. No Kid Hungry provides school lunches and school breakfasts for those types of kids, as well as at-home care where and when necessary. Every single dollar helps. If you can donate $1, that would be awesome. If you can donate $5, if everybody who watches this video donates $5 only, we'll reach the goal by the kickoff on Sunday of week 1. It would be amazing. If you can donate more, that's great too. Give what you can. Be a part of something that's bigger than yourself. And let's help kids that are in greater need than we are playing silly games like fantasy football and DFS for money on a week in, week out basis. Let's head over to Fantasy Labs. If you wanted to check out all the great stuff they have over at Fantasy Labs, use smizzle.tv/labs with an uppercase L. The link will be down below in the pinned comment. It also is in the description down below. We talked about all those groups that we made, but a lineup builder is a tool. It's going to do what you tell it, right? So I tell it to not have a kicker or a defense in the captain spot. I also typically will not allow more than one kicker or defense in any lineup. If you want to play it a different way, you'll be on the wrong side of the math. It could win, but like you're on the wrong side of the math and you're on the wrong side of the math with way more people. So like it's doubly taxing when you play that way. I'll allow it to leave 10% of the salary on the table just for differentiation purposes. I make sure that there's one unique player per lineup. I have about a 15% shuffle just to get a wider player pool than just sticking with the projections. Here's those rules that I had just talked to you about. Pair your captain quarterback with at least 2 wide receiver, tight end, and kicker. Pair your captain quarterback with at least 1 of the skill position players on the opposing team. You can make a standout rule if you wanted to include Eckler in this. You just say including only 1, and you make another one and include the running back with only the Chargers. Captain wide receiver, pair him with their quarterback. Captain tight end, pair him with his quarterback. Limit to at most 1 defense and kicker from the same game. And then the key rule is the differentiation rule. This is how we get to being overweight on Will Disley on slates like Monday Night Football. Make sure there is at least 1 running back or wide receiver, and you can add a tight end into this as well, where projected ownership is less than 20%. It draws 1 player from those less owned player pool and make sure one of them is in the lineup, built around the correlation rules that you had before. That way, when you win, you win the most possible. Apply those settings. Let's head over to the lineup builder. We'll build 150 lineups. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate all of the support and all of the eyeballs on the channel. So look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.